Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. This is the weekend edition, and we have a very special show for you today. This is a conversation I had with Fabio Lopez, a cousin of mine who lives in Milan, Italy. He used to work for the city of Milan. He has his finger on the pulse of what's happening in the community. Listen to my conversation with my cousin Fabio.
Hello, pronto?
Ciao, Fabio.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
In domestic jail. Che cosa devo dire? Siamo chiusi in scatola.
Well, Fabio, thanks for doing this. You've been sequestered in an apartment in central Milan now for several weeks. Tell me what's your perspective on what's happening in the city and the surrounding area.
Well, it's difficult to say. It's something really unusual. Never happened before. The city is silent. Nobody now is driving a car, for instance. The city is empty. We just heard trolleys car and ambulances, and this is bad.
Of course.
What is bad that we have a lot of persons who died in these days, much more than usual.
That's right, almost 1,000 deaths just today.
But for the other questions, well, it's a strange way to live. We are completely obliged to live in home, just go outside just for having a little shopping, quick shopping. We might go to the supermarket not far more than 300 meters. It's a change of kind of life.
Absolutely. And you're no more than 2 blocks away from Corso Buenos Aires, one of the busiest shopping streets in all of Milan. It must be surreal to be walking down the middle of the street with no traffic.
Oh, yes, of course. We had some years ago, and sometimes, especially on Sunday, some days without cars. It means that the major decided to stop traffic especially for pollution reasons. But it's not the same, because in this situation, a little bit of traffic was going on anyway. Today, in these days, is completely empty. No person also walking, no person with cars, no persons with motorbike or bicycle. I should like to run my bike down to Milano, but it's forbidden. And so everything is unreal. We are living something that looks like unreal, in a sort of a dream. Not a good dream, I mean, but a dream.
Absolutely. One of the things that we're hearing from the news is that, well, of course, Milan and all of Italy has been locked down for more than 3 weeks now. What is stunning to me is that the numbers are continuing to increase. They're not really showing any signs of slowing down, which is what I would start to expect to see at this point. The case infection rates are going up. The case fatalities are going up. We're seeing record numbers at this point. Do you have any idea, any thoughts as to why the numbers are still increasing the way they are?
I like to say that the main pandemic is infodemic, pandemia. I mean, too many informations. People who talk and talk and say everything and the opposite of everything. So as for what about the numbers, it's very difficult to understand exactly what is going to happen, because numbers are not really clear. We suppose, but these are the techniques, the specialists that told this, that the epidemic is larger than the official numbers. The numbers of perhaps a large part of the population is infected, but has no idea to be. And this is a problem. We know that now we have a little, come si dice, rallentamento.
Slow down.
Slow down, giusto. Slow down. A little slow. We suppose we are near the top of the hill. near the top, but before the top. So we expect much more person who will be attacked by the epidemic, and especially much more people who will die for the coronavirus. And after this, perhaps we hope we will have a decrease, a real slowdown. But many people say that perhaps at the end of April or in May, we will have a decrease. So I think all nation has to manage their future, expecting something like 4 or 5 months of crisis, no less. That's a problem.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the scenes from the neighboring towns around Milan, whether it's Bergamo, Cremona, Pavia, are heartbreaking. What are you hearing from those towns locally?
In that town, the problem is really hard, really. Especially hospital supplies are overdosed. I mean, there are enormous problems to manage all people who arrive in the hospitals and all people who, and especially for the person who work in the hospital. It's very, very large problem. They are working for realizing new hospitals for protect people with the disease. But we need time, of course. We need time to have protections like the mask to put on the face and like every other supply we need. And I heard some friends, colleagues who lives in Bergamo and in Brescia, and they are really inside the war.
It's certainly been described as a war zone. Some of the images that we've seen on the news have been of hospitals eliminating the waiting rooms, taking all the chairs out of the waiting rooms and putting hospital beds in the hallways. It really looks like a war zone.
Yes. And now we are building a new hospital inside the Milan Fair.
The convention center.
Yes, inside the city there is a part of the fair which is comfortable because it's inside, and they are preparing and will open, I suppose, tomorrow or Monday. This part of the fair arranged as an hospital, and of course they are trying to use every place useful for this. There is something funny in a certain sense. Many industries are working to produce supplies as they can. For instance, an industry which produce masks for swimming, for snorkeling, they change the production a little bit to transform some normal mask for swimming, for snorkeling, in a mask for oxygen to people who need. And this is very interesting. Also, Ferrari industry is going to produce no more Testarossa, but some supplies for beds for in intensive care.
Wow, that's incredible. The images that we're seeing out of Italy are a little bit of a preview of what might be coming here in North America. If you look at the numbers, we are some number of days, somewhere between 15 to 30 days behind Italy, unfortunately. I hope I'm wrong about that, but it's a very sobering thought. Are there any stories of optimism that you're hearing out of the local community?
I am a little bit optimist. Everything is difficult. But I suppose that Italians has the attribute, quality to survive and to have a resilience in this situation, much more than other countries. We adapted many times, in many occasions, in hard situation, and we will do it again. I mean, after the Second World War, Italy was destroyed. And in something like 10 years, Italy has a New Deal. We will do the same. we need to be optimistic. We need to believe in future. We will have problems, of course. We have problems. One of the main problem is not, I don't think it's really economic matters. Yes, economic matters are very important, but main problem is social psychology. If this period will go ahead for weeks and weeks, we will have certainly problem of resilience. We will have people who will not adapt to stay in home many weeks more. This might be a big problem.
I think that's a concern globally, not just in Italy, of course. Well, Fabio, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Certainly, our thoughts are with you. Best wishes for the household and for the entire country to recover quickly from this. And for the listeners at home, this is a sobering conversation, and it's one that, unfortunately, it might be in our future. So thank you again, Fabio. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, and have a good resilience also. You in your nation, you have much more, so you can pass the period of the quarantine in larger place than us. Good luck.
Thank you. Grazie.
Grazie a te. Ciao.
Okay, ciao. Thank you, Fabio, for sharing your thoughts with us today. And for the listeners at home, take this as a warning of what might be coming here in North America. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. Go make some great things happen. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.